here's what I want to start the show laughing. Like, what can we do? Like, let's just all be laughing. Like, what do I need to do? Like slippy slappy, like slippy slappy, goodabadabadee. Like, what do I need to do to make?
I don't know.
All right, welcome to the show. My name is Steve Hoffa. This is a Standing Still podcast. We're super glad to have you. I've got two great guests here today. I've got Courtney Sloper, and I've got my sister, Briana Hoffa. Welcome to the show, both of you ladies. It's weird saying ladies, like, oh, what's going on, looking lady? Like, to my sister, I feel like such a fucking creep.
Am I not a lady?
You are, but it's like... Oh, yeah, and Courtney, they just came down here to Whittier from Mammoth, and this is like, God, this is like God's gift to me that I'm so excited that this happened. Courtney fell on a mountain bike and fractured a couple ribs, and it hurts for her to laugh. And I immediately I'm going to destroy you on this podcast. I cannot wait.
You're going to eat it up.
Oh, my God.
But
okay.
Anywho, so yeah, they just drove down from Mammoth, 6-hour drive to get to me for Whittier, only to do the podcast. They're heading right back up after this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that big yet. And let's face it, they're not the stars that I would even deal with that for.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
Hey, you know what? We got some history helping you out. But the first thing...
us out, huh?
What?
Bye. Just kidding.
Oh, well, I didn't hear that. I'll edit that out later. But Brianna's jokes are landing, that's for sure. So check this out. Here, okay. I've been in this mood for the last week and a half where I feel, and I just want you guys to really pump this up for me, but I've been in a really good mood, to the point where I feel unstoppable for the last 10 days or so.
Are you on drugs?
No, I'm really not. Oh my gosh, how are those ribs, Courtney?
This is gonna be great.
I love this. We're 3 minutes and 22 seconds in, and Courtney's ribs already hurt. No, but I feel unstoppable. Literally, wake up, I'm motivated to go to work as an electrician, which, let's be honest, is not the easiest thing to do all the time. And so I work hard all day. I've been working 10s during the week. Then I get home, I'm super stoked. I'm on fire. Oh my gosh, ladies. What do you guys think? What do you guys think it is? I don't I literally feel like I'm making everybody's day. No, okay, no, that's a piece of shit thing to say. I was gonna say I'm making everybody's day everywhere I go, but it's
you're just
I don't want to put that
world,
label on
Steve.
me right now.
You're like the new Bruce Almighty.
Yeah. New Bruce Almighty.
A bit selfish at the beginning, yeah, but I come into my own.
No,
but
true.
I read a story that one of our aunts, Briana, sent us, and I just texted her what I felt. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, I really loved it. You know, there's a couple pieces that I had some memories in, and then it kind of made sense. You know, it brought back a lot of memories that didn't really make any sense, but it was piecing it together with the story, and I was like, this is really good, a true treat to read. Thank you. And she's like, oh my gosh, you made me gay. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was in a text. I figured that's how she said it in her mind, but
Gotcha.
Oh, you got it? Or no, that's right. You were there and they sent it to me, and you still haven't read it. Oh, wow. Sibling competition.
Is it the cat one?
Yeah, it's the cat one. It's really good. But anyways.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet. I need to do that.
What do you guys think that is? Because I feel like nothing other than I could say I've been surrounded by some really good people. You were down here a week ago. You're doing terrific. That brought me up. Courtney, I don't know if you've ever been better, Courtney. And that's saying a lot because you've been pretty damn good in the past. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God.
I'm really crossing some lines here.
Yeah, that one sounded a little weird.
No, but you know what I mean? What do you... I'm trying to... Is it a pay it forward by... And it's not even somebody oh, hey, I found $5 or somebody did bought me lunch. It's people are just so good. And I'll let you guys talk in a second. I know I'm totally rambling. But I've been surrounded by some really positive people lately, and it's just man, I can't carry it forward enough. And it's not me okay, I'm going to carry it forward. It's I just wake up like that. What do you guys think?
I think who you surround yourself has a lot to do with it. I mean, I had to move to get myself out of certain situations that I was surrounded by the wrong people, I guess, or didn't have the support, or, I'm a social person. I like to be around other people who make me feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't have that, I tend to suffer.
Wow.
I think it has to do 100% with who you surround yourself with.
You think so?
Totally. I mean, if you surround yourself with people who just hate life and hate their jobs and hate everything and are all bitter, then it just subconsciously makes
Brings
you
you
that
down.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard about this thing, and it was, God, that was what a terrible way to segue into something. Yeah, I heard about this thing. So don't gaze your eyes, ladies. Like, stay with me. Oh my goodness. So okay, I was basically gonna say, what is it, like 10 people, or the 5 people you hang out with the most, you end up being the average out of those. You know what I mean? If you hang out with a couple really terrible people and you hang out with some really great people, you kind of just turn to be kind of a whatever,
middle.
dude. Yeah, just kind of a, you know what I mean, in the way person on the 105 freeway. But if you're hanging out with great people, well, then that moves you to the 605, and that's a higher number. But I don't know how I've ever been hired ever. Like, I literally talk out my ass all the time. Like, what did he just say? Like, the 605 is better than the 105? People that don't even live in the LA area. I love that your ribs are hurt.
You're so mean.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But which leads me to my next thing. What was I going to talk about? Oh, okay. So I heard this thing. God, I'm terrible at segues, dude. I heard the way I heard it. Well, okay. I have this idea for a future episode. I kind of want your opinions on it. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, do some, comment on something. I'm curious what you guys think about this future episode. But the idea that I heard, they were talking about a chef, and he's a very famous chef, and I'm not going to say his words, but he was talking about cleansing his palate. Like he like wasn't eating meat, and he's like, oh yeah, I want to cleanse my palate before I go back to eating meat. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I'm 25 now, and I've grown a lot in my career and just kind of maturity and everything like that. And I remember when you're like 16, it's like impossible to get a job. You know what I mean? And so, and then you grow, and it's like you kind of naturally look like those jobs are beneath me. You know what I mean? And so I'm literally kind of what I did in similar to a previous episode where I went up to a bunch of chicks, just kind of a different bars and stuff like that, and got just a true score kind of thing, 1 to 10, and how old did I look. So definitely check out that episode. It's pretty funny. But anyways, I want to go and just apply everywhere as a minimum wage job, like Macy's, like who does not endorse this show. All these different places, like fast food, like nothing, like gas stations, everything, minimum wage, whatever I can get. And I'll just say like, hey, I'm just looking for a second job. I'm an electrician during the day, so I can work any night during the week and on weekends. I'm wide open. And for like a week, I'm just going to hit it super hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then just turn down the hundreds of people that want to hire me, I guess. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm curious of like, you think you've grown. I really want to like put it back and, you know what I mean? It's like, I want to put myself to that original test. I want to retake the high school SATs. You know what I mean? Not literally, but like you get what I'm saying. I want to retake that test I did at 16, that job interview.
Right.
I want to retake that. The one that was
so
so hard to do.
right.
And then now I blossom into this beautiful thing. I really want to redo it. What do you guys think? Do you think that'd be a good episode?
I think it'd be pretty
like
interesting.
Literally, like just
for
notes
sure.
of every interview, every phone call. Like, okay, what did you say here? And then like, oh, I'm sorry, it was actually just for a podcast episode. But thank you for your time. Totally wasted it.
I think you should do that, and then after like your interview process or whatever,
just invite them. Like, hey, if you want to talk on it, like we can do it.
Yeah, like
We can do a snippet, girl.
Either invite them on it or just like be like, hey, so I'm actually doing this for podcast. Why did you want to hire me, and why was I like the employee of choice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can ask them like, tips as far as what stood out in my interview, because I don't know, like,
not stand out.
or what
Right.
did not stand out, because I know being in human resources myself, it kind of opened my eyes into employers look at a lot of different things when they're going to invest money in employing someone.
Right. No, it's a huge
And it's a lot of
thing.
money invested to train someone, and training mainly all the orientations. You're paying these people to be there and learn, and then a lot of jobs have issues where people interview and start for a week and then leave.
right.
Totally.
To where that's lost money.
It's an investment that doesn't pay off immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
It's yes. And so I'd be interested to hear what maybe stood out in your. I think it'd be not educating
No, totally.
for people.
Totally. I'm working on this job. They're building this new train thing in LA, and so it's a city job, right? It's with Metro, and there's a lot of not hired by Metro, but they're running it. But excuse me. It really came to my attention because it was like, okay, you got hired on, and then it's like, okay, we're paying you 4 hours just to come to our place and like sign all the like for the company I actually work for, just sign all the okay, new hire stuff. And then I had to go to the general contractor's place and do another 8 hours of like watch safety slides for 8 hours. And it was like 6, but I got paid for 8. So it's like, okay, there's 12 hours. And then it was like, I go to the first day where I'm actually supposed to start working, and they're like, oh, you need this training so you can actually track allocated, like you can actually be on the tracks. It's like, boom. So you're going to do a half day and then go back out there. So I'm like, they already paid me like 16 hours and I haven't built a thing. You know what I mean? And I was like, if I leave right now,
They're
that would
lost.
suck.
Yeah,
I know.
they're
like,
out of money.
I was like, that's such a crappy thing to do.
Yes.
No, but okay, well, I mean, what do you guys think about me, huh? Like, where do I stand, huh? Like,
When's the last
okay,
time
Briana,
you've interviewed?
It's been years, probably 5 years at least. It's probably been like 6. It's been quite a bit of time. Briana, you work in HR. We've never done this, surprisingly, because I love doing these little things. But you're interviewing me. What job, Courtney? Courtney, pick a job. A little improvisation here.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Do a minimum wage job. Like, let's get into it. I want to be a method interviewer. Like, let's get into it.
Hamburger flipper at McDonald's.
Hamburger flipper. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So that's the job that's open. All right, Briana. I'm walking through the door, and hi, my name's Steve Hoffa. How are you?
Well, okay. The first things is how are you dressed, and how do you shake a hand? What's your presentation? We always look at that stuff. First impressions are a lot.
I dress very clean and neat, and like I want to be there. I have a positive attitude when I walk through the door. I make eye contact with a firm handshake, and I would say 1 step below a suit and 2 steps below a tux.
Okay.
Very, very nicely dressed before a suit. Like if you're going to go to a wedding where you've never met the bride or groom,
Like slacks.
you're just going in there to pick up all the chicks. You know what I mean? That's what you're going in there for. I have a story, but I'm saving it for a buddy. But anyways,
Okay.
saving it for a future episode.
Did you show up on time, or were you early? Like,
I showed up 30 minutes early, and I have something to write with a professional pen.
okay, see, those are all
Whoa.
things that we look at.
Yep.
Okay, so then,
They even have a backup pen too.
hey, you
Right
have
off
to have
the bat, I'd be
those.
like, all right, this guy's a kiss ass.
Okay, so
Career moves.
usually, as anyone would do, we would walk in, I would introduce myself, and then I would kind of go over
Well, hang on. Introduce yourself. I did the whole spiel too. Like,
where am I working? McDonald's.
You're
or
working at
something?
McDonald's, so you got the stupid hat on with the polo shirt that's only made by McDonald's and only people that work at McDonald's wear by force. With no choice.
Okay, so I'm Briana, and I'm the manager here at McDonald's.
Oh, very cool.
What made you want to work here?
It's McDonald's has really built an empire, and I think it's one thing that I can really see as a good opportunity, not only for me but for the both of us. I'm really excited about having another job and something with a lot of structure like McDonald's. And let's face it, who doesn't like McDonald's? You know what I mean? So I'm just really excited. But it was really nice to meet you, Briana. What else can I do for you?
Okay, so what do you have any experience in the fast food industry?
I do. My first job was at Party City. I was 16, so it's not fast food, but it's a lot of customer service and a lot of, just wearing a smile, which we all have those days, you know what I mean? But yeah, just wearing a smile, which can be really huge. I also worked at Pizza Hut, which it's kind of a hybrid fast food, I think. It's kind of, one foot wouldn't fit in the fast food pool. I joke, but no, but that's one thing I'm really excited about. I love a new challenge. I've been an electrician for the last 4 years, and I'm still currently doing that. But all nights are free and weekends totally open, which I understand is probably your busiest time for McDonald's. So I think, like I said, I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm just really excited.
Okay, that sounds good. So, do you have any gaps in employment? Were you ever unemployed for a certain amount of time, and if so, why?
No. Or you know what? Nothing that I can really staple down. Ever since I've been 16, I've always been employed, sometimes by multiple companies. This isn't the first time I've had more than one job, so I'm, there's no scare there. But there's been a week or two where I've already had something else lined up, and it's just been a gap. Every time I've transferred from one company into another, or like I like to think of it, one opportunity to another, I'm always very gracious with the last company that I was with. I've never left a company on bad terms, and I hope this would be the same if we ever decide to part ways. Which
so how would you feel? Have you ever been how many times have you been late to work in the past year?
Past year, very, very minimal. It's very frustrating, not only for me but for everybody involved when you're late. You know what I mean? It's a job. This is a business, and I do understand that. Very, very minimal. I'm really. It's one of those things where I really try, because like you said, like wearing a smile. Just being on time and showing up every day. That's huge. I totally agree with that.
I agree. You beat me.
I've
to
already
my
got the
next
fucking
question.
job, Briana.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I already got it.
The last question is, in my experience, usually the make or break, and that, believe it or not, is can you pass a background and drug screen?
I recently just got off of heroin, but you can tell by how
It could be
big my
simple stuff
forehead
too,
is.
you sometimes even if you have too many traffic tickets on your record, that can jeopardize being hired.
No, it's funny that you asked. I'm actually clean as a whistle, as my dad used to say.
Well, that's good. He'll be real proud.
I remember laying in the fields as a boy thinking about working at McDonald's. It's so interesting that I'm here now.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
Dream job there, bud.
Obviously,
can't wait to go national. Can't wait to go national.
Obviously, the basics. Even further than the basics as far as when it comes to interviewing. You'd be surprised. People will show up in, ripped, torn jeans and T-shirts that are wrinkled, and they cuss in the interviews, and you'd just be surprised. People aren't aware of how to be, to kind of sell yourself and be professional.
Right. No, I'm very, I've had a lot of jobs where it wasn't that I was the best at being that job.
Right.
It's that I was pretty good and I was good at working hard. And when you're not working hard and being efficient, and that's stealing. That's the same as stealing.
It is.
But
time fraud.
No, but I know how to build good relationships. I don't want any beef, genuinely, and there's a difference between being a kiss ass and just genuinely I like talking to people. That's why I have a podcast and stuff like that. But no, it's
even like you said before, being your best and wanting to be your best for other people even.
Right. No, it's for sure. I'm going to do it. This will be fun. Yeah, this will be fun.
It'll be interesting. You'll have to let me know.
I can't
seal the deal.
I can't wait to be a better employee than the manager that's interviewing me, because I've been through the drive-through, and if the manager's running that joint and it's like, oh dude, I got to not go in there thinking that I'm already better than you. That's going to be the hard part. I don't want to play the white card, people, but if I have to.
Whoa there.
What?
We're a minority here. What are you talking about?
I work in construction. I understand that I'm a minority. And I'm working in Inglewood. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, if you follow the Instagram page, Standing Still Podcast, you know that. I posted something the other day. So I'm working along these train tracks. Every so often they put a porta-john, because otherwise, we're out in the public, but it's like, where are we going to go to the restroom? We're not going to drive to a McDonald's and use it. So they put these porta-johns every once in a while. And I go to use one that's just on the side of a public street in Inglewood, which if you don't know, if you're from California, or you just don't know Inglewood, it's a lot of Section 8 housing, a lot of 2004 6 Series BMWs with 22-inch rims that are leased. And anyway, so I go there.
It's not a good area.
It's not a very good area. It's very, very ghetto. and there's a little shit nugget on the curb right there. There's a needle on the ground, and there's just cigarette trash. And then I had to use that. It was very enjoyable. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's not a good area, but
A porter john, is that what you called it?
it's an outhouse.
I
Yeah.
haven't.
I've never heard that term. I've always
it's
called it a porter potty.
Well, have you never like, oh, you're gonna go to the John? You never heard that?
But
Well, I've heard going to the John.
Our
but,
dad's name is John, and you've never called them Porta John? Are you kidding me?
No, I've always called it a porter potty
You do not call your dad Porter John.
or an outhouse.
You know, I might have written in my notebook a time or two, but
Oh, Dad.
I didn't have a notebook, everybody.
Oh, man.
No, he's a good dude. And he was on the podcast. It's a really good episode. You should listen to it. But anyways,
Yeah, you should.
where was I going with that? Let's talk about I have a few funny stories written down. Briana, did you bring okay. What did you guys think I was going to talk about? I told you it was going to be light and fun when you showed up, but
I honestly
clue?
had no clue.
Oh, by the
I
way,
was terrified.
while I'm setting up cameras, Courtney goes, "What's your podcast called?" It's like, "Oh, cool, Courtney, cool."
Yeah.
No, she's a sweetheart, and we love her, and I'm really glad to have her on the show.
Oh,
But,
thanks, bud.
This is random, but for anyone that doesn't know, Courtney and I grew up and have been good friends since high school. That's the connection as to why we're on here together.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
These are the things that, as I become more professional, I will announce at the beginning of the show. So now that we're 22 minutes in, you guys understand who's on the podcast.
Oh man.
No, I'll do a little something in the beginning, but you don't have. Think of a funny story. I already have a few. If you're being stumped right now, but like right now, I brought it up when we were hanging out with Chris and Ivory. The Three Musketeers story. Have you ever heard this? Me and her.
No.
Oh my gosh, this
You're
was the
gonna
most.
embarrass me.
This is the most defeated mentally I've ever been by my own self and physically. So this was at a point where, obviously, now that I'm a large boy / young man. I don't know. I divide the line sometimes. I cross over it, but
You're definitely not my little brother anymore. You're
right.
my younger.
This was at a point where when we were roughhousing as a kid. No, you're goofing around as a kid, wrestling around. Briana, you're 3 years older than me. I'm 25 now. I'm not gonna say how old you are.
Yeah, people can do math.
But anyway, so we're wrestling around. This was at a point when you could still like hold me down and pin me down.
Yeah, it didn't last long, but
Well,
there was a point there.
we're wrestling around. We're giggling like the couple schoolgirls that we are, and
I don't think I've ever laughed that hard. Like I was laughing.
we're
really
laughing
hard.
so hard where you physically can't close your mouth. You're like
Right.
literally like close your mouth, and you just can't close it. Like just yard sale, you can't close it. And Briana's chewing a Three Musketeer, arguably the best one she's ever had.
I love my chocolate.
No,
Oh,
but
man.
so she's chewing on this Three Musketeer. My sister's always been one of those people that like likes to just chew it forever before she swallows it. Like, oh my gosh. Well, she's chewing on this thing, and she's got me pinned down, and she's like on my chest, like we're both laughing. Neither of us can close our mouth.
Oh no.
I swear, I'm like watching this thing dangle from her mouth for like 20 seconds.
It didn't
I literally
seem to
was
happen
like-
in slow mo.
like
Like
she's-
I even knew it was coming.
She's got my hands pinned back, and I'm like turning my head, like no, like mouth open, like both of us, and she's just like not trying to follow, but like I like turning my head, like can't do anything. Like this is Guantanamo Bay kind of shit, and I just see it fall. And I swear, as it's traveling through the air, like there she goes. That one song is just like there she goes, and it falls and drops right, like not even like oh my gosh, it's like on my lip or like in my mouth. It just goes right down my throat, like didn't even touch anything in my mouth. Just goes hop, like all the way down into my stomach.
You were so mad. You got like super strength. You like
I literally
threw me off.
Threw
him.
her off, and I like go out, like run outside to try to spit it out, but it's already like halfway through the intestinal
He ate
tract,
it.
like literally fell. Oh my gosh, like just right down the elevator shaft, just whoop, like all the way down my throat.
How'd it taste?
You know,
Did you taste it?
the taste of defeat is a bitter one. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
It just was like, it's just, I've never been so defeated.
I
like,
felt
physically and
so
mentally.
bad, but he was so mad at me. Like, he would not talk to me. I couldn't get near him.
I was so.
He was so angry.
I was so. I was so frustrated. I knew it was not. I wasn't like you. You could never do that again, even if you tried. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was one of those things where you're so mad, but you have nothing to be mad about because it was like a freak thing, and we were laughing so hard.
We were laughing.
It wasn't like you were laughing and I was like, no, like crying, like get off of me, and you spit in my mouth or something like that. It was we were both laughing, and I remember like I've never laughed that like had such a sense of joy and fear at the same like laughing so hard where you can't close your mouth, but you could see it dangling there, this chewed up piece of chocolate. And I haven't been able
I
to
think
sleep
that's when you
since.
got into like, I'm pretty sure after that, I remember you like trying to spit and do like the Big Daddy, like on the kid on Big Daddy.
Was that what led to that? I remember doing that, but
you like
I don't
pinned me
know.
down, and he would,
Was there
you know, the
connection?
ketchup scene where he like spits and
Spits and
dangles
then
his spit.
Oh,
Sucks it
yeah.
back
He would
up.
pin me down and dangle his spit over me, and I'd just be freaking
I
out.
love the priorities that are on your list when you're a kid. Like, I need to invest my time in this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Good times, bro.
That was good times, man. Good times. I what else have I written down here
Steve
that I
had
was thinking about?
Steve and I had a lot of fun growing up.
I used to I think I brought this up when we were hanging out with our cousins earlier too, but like it was when I started, because when you're, you know, I hate calling myself funny because it's like the same thing of like, oh, I'm beautiful. Like it's like the same thing. So I hate calling myself funny. But is when you start, you know, when you're trying to make somebody laugh, for me at least, you're a lot of sentences ahead already,
Totally.
right? Because you're totally like, I'm already setting you up 5 sentences from now. But think about that. That's why I'm terrible at dating, because it's like, okay, times 10, and I can't compute. You know what I mean? I just like, and it's like super slow. I'm like, oh yeah, I had a good time, because I'm like, how's that going to react 10 sentences from now? Let's get back to what's at hand here. But so
I think
okay.
overthinking kind of runs in our family.
Just a little.
Yeah. So okay. You be able to like manipulate people and stuff like that, right? That's where I was getting at. And so my sister would come up angry about something that, you know, sounds and it's very plausible that I did. It sounds like something I would do. And she would, did you come over here and like put all my bobby pins in my bed? And I would immediately like realize like that's very plausible for me to do. However, I had nothing to fucking do with that. And so I know,
But his face would always look so guilty. It used to like.
I would do
I'd
that.
get
I would
so
I would
mad.
immediately like register that it's like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And I just go, like, no. You know what I mean? Like, even though I know I'm like totally innocent, you'd be like, what the hell, Steven?
Oh
Like,
my
I know
God.
you did that. And I go,
That
I really didn't. And
And
you
he'd
just
be
get
like
so
laughing. I didn't do it. I was
love
like,
it.
yes,
that
you did.
facial expression just took me back to high school days.
Dude,
For
totally.
sure. I'm like, Steve, you are so guilty right now.
Totally. I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mom and Dad would get involved. Like, Steve, did you do this? And I'm like, no.
No,
Like,
I actually didn't.
and then once I had my fun, I was like, look, this is where this clause here, boom, boom, I'm free. And they're like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. It's not you. But
At least you could play it off. Like me growing up, I always smiled or laughed whenever.
You both did.
I know, but that's why you got to play into it. You just do it all the time. Like
See,
even
it's my nervous reaction, so I'll be like, no, I didn't do it. But I'll be like sitting there with a big smile on my face laughing. Dad used to
Right.
get so mad. Wipe that smile off your face. Like, I can't.
I have like sometimes like around women, I have a hard time like keeping like the cool, calm, and collected. Stephen Hoffa that we all know. But, like a girl will come up to me like, that's a cool belt buckle right there, and I'm like, and I'm like,
What's she looking at?
thanks.
You get a compliment by like that, you better say thank you.
pretty cool looking belt buckle you got there. No, but like
This is a little bit of torture. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
told you. Maybe that should be my new logo. Like, come over and laugh. It's gonna be a torture. You know what I mean? Dude, you ever have something where like you want so bad to tell that, like, it happened to me Friday of last week. where you want to like so badly to tell somebody about it, but there's no angle or way you can say it without looking like a total idiot. I hit my knee with a hammer on Friday, like bad. Like it was it's like a mini one-handed sledgehammer. And I was like really tired because we were pounding in the stakes at work and I already done a whole bunch. I'm in the sun and I like swing and it like skips off the ground and hits me and you're immediately like, oh. And you like the first thing you do is you're like, did anybody fucking see that? You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
and like I was with the journeyman and inspector at the time and they were talking or whatever. And I'm just like on all fours in the middle of this dirt lot, like, oh,
Keep it together.
right? Like you're trying to like not wince. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're not watching on YouTube, you really have to. 'Cause the faces I'm making are killing this room
They're
right
amazing.
now. I just laughed into a cup.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be the most giggly podcast you have.
That's how I'll advertise it. You want to giggle?
Listen to this.
You ever thought about giggling? No, but I hit myself with a hammer, and then he called me like after a minute of me just like soaking in the pain and just like, not so much the physical pain, but just the pain of realizing like how low my IQ can get. You know what I mean? Like
I just hit myself.
everybody like has those valleys, but mine are deep and high. Sometimes I'll give myself that. But I mean, like today. So I've been really into this band, and I was singing the band I ride a motorcycle to and from work every day, so I'm singing in my helmet all the way home to myself. Like, I'm literally thinking, I'm like, people can see my mouth moving, but they're thinking like, oh, he's got Bluetooth, he's talking on the phone. No, I'm singing. But I'm singing the lyrics in a totally like, but I don't know how to sing the song, so I'm just singing it my own way in like a totally different genre.
Heck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gibberish singing.
Yeah. But did you guys have any of those moments like that comes to mind where you're just like, I love this story, it's hilarious, but there's no way of telling it, like where I just don't look like a total idiot? Like, oh, where'd you get that bruise from? Oh, hit my kneecap with a hammer last Friday. Boy, well, that was a doozy. Like, there's no way of,
I shredded my finger when I was cooking.
You
with
shredded
a cheese grater?
Oh, with the mandolin.
Yes, I
Oh
took
my
a
God.
chunk off my
Wait,
finger.
Oh my God.
Wait, hold the press. Mandolin could be the funniest word you could say.
It's an interesting
What is a mandolin?
tool.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
So, like, if you go to a Japanese restaurant and get cucumber salad.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Do you? I'm half Japanese.
Do I
Come
look-
on.
Do I look like a Japanese cucumber salad type of guy?
Yes. It's a very Hokkaido thing to order.
Courtney
let's
knows all about-
let's keep the Hokkaido mandolin.
She
Let's
knows,
keep the words.
she knows
going,
all about
okay?
it. She's a great cook, and she cooks Japanese food, and it's awesome. But anyways, go ahead and explain what
So,
this mandolin is.
Basically, it's
First sponsor of my show. Go ahead.
it's a tool in the kitchen that's like this long, and it has a really sharp blade on it.
Mhm.
And
It's a spiralizer.
you can slice things very, very thin.
Yeah.
On it. And so what were you making?
So Courtney was getting ready to throw like a barbecue out
that's right.
camping.
At
I
the
think you
4th of
told me
July.
about you were making shikaku, right? I'm just making up words now.
No, I was shredding a lot of things. There was several things that I was cutting up that day, fruit and all kinds of stuff. But I was doing cucumber salad,
Cucumber salad, that's right.
and I was doing the cucumbers, and you do the back and forth like you're chopping. You're thinking you're a pro, you got it, and then that there went like a chunk of my finger.
I warned her about it too. I was like, do not get your hands too close to this thing because this blade is so sharp. It will cut off half your finger and you
Really?
won't even know.
Yeah, you didn't. I didn't
Until
even
you see the
realize. Yeah, I didn't
Until
even
people
realize.
start eating the cucumber salad or
No,
what?
I will say this:
The
like
shikaku?
the second I
Here's
realized,
another good word for you. Sunomono is what it's called.
Sunomono?
Sunomono.
I'm going to use that when I'm at the taco truck. Like, excuse me, senor, do you have any sunomono?
No,
Continue your story. That was super lame.
I can say for everyone's health and sanitary, like there was no skin, there was no blood that got in contact with the food. I was definitely on top of that, but no, it sliced me, and I didn't even realize until I was like, oh, whoa, there's blood everywhere. Like, dang, what happened? And then I realized, oh, big chunk taken right out of my knuckle.
Did you tell the truth right away, or did you're like, oh, this owl came out of nowhere and just took up my finger?
So because I've done this so many times, she just walks up to me and shows me her hand. I'm like, the mandolin!
She knew exactly what I had done.
Did you yell it in like the same kind of screech that they yelled Godzilla, like in the same? Okay.
But I did have to tell Josh, and it was like, I felt like such an idiot because I was like, hey, Josh, guess what happened? And he's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, this is Courtney's boyfriend. And he was like, oh, you know what happened? And I was like, I totally took a chunk out of my finger today. And he goes, the mandolin. He knew right away, too. Everyone had warned me. Sure enough, I did it.
It's the mandolin, man. I'm going to buy you one for Christmas now. You're going to have so much fun with it.
Yeah, you can do a lot of different things with it.
I cannot wait for that Instagram post for the show. Like, having fun here with my mandolin. Like,
you totally will, too.
Like, you'll have fun with it.
That'll be my Christmas cards.
It's a fun cooking tool.
Yeah, I'm down. So, okay. First of all, why is it? Because, I mean, I thought about it when you started talking. You girls are so lucky. Oh, cracking my back. But
we're lucky.
Because let's say I make the best fucking cucumber salad. This, like Sunamono, this side of the Mississippi River.
Good.
Sunamono. Right? Let's say I make the best Sunamono on the west of the Mississippi River. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I nailed that. Let's say I make a really good salad, right? I can't take that to a party.
Why not?
Because, like, all the guys will give me.
Oh, they'll give you grief.
If ever, like, hey, he brought
it's like
kebabs.
Baking cookies.
Hey, Josh brought ribs.
And
it's like, what did he bring? Cucumber salad. Like, oh, would you drive up in a scooter? Strap this thing back to my scooter.
It would kind of be like taking cookies to a party, I guess, for you. Like, girls can get away with it, but I guess.
Or
cupcakes.
It's like when you show up to the college party, everybody bought booze, and you show up, you're like, just in case, guys. You guys get dehydrated. I bought Powerade for everybody. Like, it's like.
Yeah, I get that. I've never really thought about that. That's a good point.
It is.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Like, if you think about it, especially like when we were in our early 20s and we would go to like our friends' houses.
Right.
If it was all guys living
Us
there.
girls were always the ones that brought food.
Right. But if we left it up to the guys, there'd be like chips
Nothing.
and salsa.
Right. Yeah. Or barbecue. Barbecue. Guys are great with the barbecue usually.
But then you come over to a chick's house and we have like stuffed jalapenos, mozzarella sticks, spinach artichoke dip.
You guys want to hear a risk?
What?
You go to a mixed gender. Sounds like a political party now. But you go up to like a mixed gender party, right? You're like in your 20s or whatever. And it's at a chick's house. And it's like all the chicks you see on the group chat on Facebook. And you're like, oh my gosh, can we bring sour cream?
Right.
And it's guys go to hang out and it's like, I'll bring food, like I'm totally down, unless the guy's like stoked, like, oh, like he does, Chris smokes ribs and like we gotta have him, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. But it's like you could tell, and I'm not trying to say like women are in the kitchen, like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like you could tell that you guys, like I'm not gonna bring a main meal because it's like you guys already have it. It's like it's your party for that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because otherwise I'd be like taking somebody's spot. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand that. Like living in different places, renting rooms or whatever, it's
like I totally get it.
You have to be careful when you're in someone else's kitchen. Like when I moved in with Courtney and Josh, I love to cook, and I mean,
she's an amazing cook.
Obviously,
no Salisbury steak.
Oh, dude,
you want Salisbury steak? You haven't even had one.
You used to make Salisbury steaks. I would literally just sit there. Like one does, like when you're eating cereal, but it's with Salisbury steak.
I thought you liked the enchiladas I made with the rice and beans.
No, her Salisbury steaks.
Yeah.
So my best friend, who I also work with at the ski shop, was just so happened to be over that night and ate with us. She talks about them every single day.
Okay.
To the
entire she talk about them like? They're like, what's wrong? You're like,
pretty much. I served food and like nobody talked for 30 minutes.
No one.
No one.
Silence.
Everyone was silent.
Just inhaled
eating.
our food.
Everyone inhaled it.
What a compliment that is. Huh?
Right, and then afterwards, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that was so good. I'm so full. I want more." And they went back for seconds too. So it was a good compliment.
I love that. I love how when you cook a big meal and you're like, this is so delicious, but it's like everybody eat. You know what I mean? It's just the dynamic because you're all. And, like, you feel that pressure of, like, this is going to be, you know what I mean? Like, I hope this is good. It smells good. And then you take a bite, and you're like, this is a solid C-. You know what I mean? You're like, this is so good. And like, really? Do you love it? And you're like, I can't wait. And
I've
they're like,
had
here, take some home.
moments.
You're like, no,
No.
please, no.
Cooking is a trial and error. It takes time to learn. Like, it is definitely. I've had my moments where it's like, oh, that didn't turn out that great. Like,
Totally.
What's your favorite
learning
thing?
curve.
What's your, as guys, I've never said this, but I'm going to say it now. What's your panty dropper if you were a guy? What's your, like, this is my meal? Is it the Salisbury? Is it the Salisbury steak, Briana?
No.
What does Salisbury even mean? I don't even know.
I
what
don't
that
know. I
means.
never heard of it until she made it.
Oh, that's a delicious steak you got there. What kind of steak is that? Salisbury.
I don't know.
Just a Salisbury.
Where I was going with that, though, was where I was going. Actually, what did you ask me again? I lost my train of thought.
What's your like, man, I knocked this meal out of the park.
Your favorite meal to cook and eat?
Right. Tell you, okay, how about this? What's your favorite meal you can cook, and what's your favorite meal that you just, like, enjoy? Like, you know, if it's pizza from this place, which I know you're not a huge pizza person, but you're like, oh, like, I love the beans from Burrito Track, you know what I mean? Like, what's your favorite place and meal to go eat somewhere? And then what's the one you like to cook?
Oh, that's really hard. I love food, like, in general.
See, that's so weird that you say that because you eat like a damn bird.
Yeah,
You
but
do.
I do like
You
food.
used to drive me crazy because I can down pizza, and you would get a slice, you would take a fork and peel back, like it's
Everyone's
what's the
gonna
guy
hear
from
about Bree's weird eating habits.
What's the guy that's like what's the guy he's a scary dude, he like eats people. What's that movie where he's like
I hate scary movies.
oh my gosh, it's Anthony Hopkins, I think is what his name is. What's the big whatever where you like peel the cheese back and with all the toppings on it like it's a person's skin, like Leatherface.
Oh,
and you
gotcha.
take a fork and you go like if she's freaking running plaster, right? Like
Scraping
and
that
she
sauce off.
She scrapes the sauce off to get a low sauce, and then she like just like slaps like there's the cheese. Like I'm assuming because you need two hands, she like holds the slice up and then scrapes it off with the fork. So like you just slap that cheese on the wall while you're waiting, or like where do you put it? Okay,
No,
rant is done. Brotherly sister rant is done. What's your favorite meal?
I pick apart my food. That's fair.
Not only pick apart your food, but I can eat like 4 cheeseburgers, and she took like a bite of hers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, thanks.
Hey, I ate a whole cheeseburger today. I ate the whole thing.
Hmm.
It was good.
In like 2 hours.
Well, I mean, I ate the whole thing.
Yeah. That's very good. Okay.
Okay, favorite food.
Okay,
Favorite food.
so I don't know,
This
like,
is on my goal list.
it's
I want to
hard
get through it.
to pinpoint like a favorite meal really because my favorite foods are like comfort foods. So
What's wrong with
mashed
that?
potatoes and gravy, like
Oh, yeah.
give me
Oh,
some of
yeah.
that. Like that's a comfort food for me. I am a sweet tooth, so
Mhm.
like
What's your
candy,
f- yeah.
chocolate.
What's your favorite candy?
Favorite candy?
Are you're a
love-
chocolate person?
I love chocolate. Anything
She's a
chocolate, I
sweet
will eat
person.
it.
Are you more a chocolate person, or are you a like a
Sweet, sour
Starburst? You know what I
gummy.
mean? Like
See,
that,
I'm not huge on like gummy bears and things
Right.
like that. I'm not big on that. But like if it's sour, like sour straws, like I brought to your house not
Yeah.
too long ago, or
I love
don't know.
Airheads as like my like not chocolate
Oh
thing.
God,
I
I
love-
haven't had an Airhead in probably 20 years.
I haven't had an Airhead in a long
I
time.
love like sticking the whole thing in your mouth, and it's like you just try to bite
whole
down.
thing, huh?
You know, I've built up a tolerance to Airheads, but.
Have
You want to
you
get
ever,
sexual,
like-
Brandon? You want to have a brotherly sister sexual thing? Okay,
No,
fine.
just-
Like a dick, I put the whole thing in my mouth. I don't even chew it, just swallow it.
Oh
Like,
gosh!
takes
I'm
me
gonna
back-
pretend I
takes me
never
back to
heard
the
that.
Three Musketeers. It takes me
Oh
back
my
every
God.
time.
I'm gonna pretend I never heard
Okay.
that. Did you ever like take your Airhead and before you opened it, like slap it back and forth within your hand and watch it like it got smaller and smaller in
Are
the
you
package?
stopping? Okay, whatever.
Did you understand what I said right now? Did you ever do that?
You take it in your hand, you slap it back and forth
Like
like it's Tallahassee.
You hold the top of it and you like slap it, like you shake it back and forth, and eventually the whole Airhead will like shrink into a little square, and then you open it and it's like a little thick square versus the longer piece.
No, I haven't. I'm really excited.
They
to learn
shrink
now.
though. Yeah.
I
I don't know.
Are
It
you
was a
thinking of
thing.
Airheads that I'm thinking about? I think it would. We're not going to go into Airheads, but anyways. Favorite meal to cook? We'll just 2 questions at one time was too much. Favorite meal to cook? What's your go-to?
Mexican food.
Okay, narrow it down.
Oh.
What's like your dish? Your enchiladas?
Yeah, I'd say probably the enchiladas.
Like that's
and
your like you're gonna go show it to Gordon Ramsay, and you're like, hey, this is the best meal I can make that I love the most.
Yeah, when I put my all efforts in and don't like cheat and use already pre-cooked meat or whatever, like I put the effort in.
Money's
would
no
be
issue.
The chicken enchiladas that I make with beans, and then I make my own Spanish rice. Like,
oh, do you really?
Yeah, from white rice, I make it myself.
You got to teach me how to do that because I don't know how to cook that very well. But okay, right on. Let's see here. What about you? Are you a big cooker, Courtney?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love cooking.
She cooks for like 20 people when there's 3.
You answer that like you've been waiting. Like, okay, I'll let Briana have her fucking turn. But like,
No,
just
not
ask
at
me the
all.
question. Like, what's your go-to? Have you? Okay, I have a question after. But what's your go-to?
Oh man, you better say what I think you're gonna say.
Say what you
Oh,
need to
everyone likes the
say.
teriyaki beef.
No, well, I was gonna say what
Oh yeah, you got to teach me how to do like some
Japanese food in
Yeah.
general. She's oh my gosh,
I love that
amazing.
stuff. All the sauces though, I'm not good with spices, so it's like add this and this and this to make the sauce for the beef. I'm terrible at that's like, but I love it. I need to learn that. But what? So what is teriyaki beef?
I was just kind of like raised making it, so it's like second nature.
You're not bragging. I'm just saying like, what's your like? You like, bam, like there it is. You know what I mean?
Fried chicken.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like just a wing, like a southern fried
No,
chicken?
so I get chicken breasts and then I'll bread it and fry it and then make my homemade gravy
Dang.
with au gratin potatoes and I've been liking zucchini lately. She won't eat it.
I love zucchini. But
She won't
anyway,
eat any.
what have you guys ever made a dish? I have a story.
I eat it. I just pick out what I don't like.
Yeah, she is very good at
Because
that.
you already pick it apart, even if you love it.
Right.
Like
Right,
it's
totally.
just how you consume
It's
things.
totally. Yeah. So
You're a
doesn't-
robot.
It's not much different.
Have you guys ever made something that you're really stoked about for somebody, whether it be like a date or even family members visiting? You're like, oh, and then they don't like it. When I was a kid, I went over to a friend's house and they wouldn't shut up about this dish. And like while they were cooking it, I'm like, that smells awful. And then like they're like, this is so good, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, but I didn't know how to like. When you're a kid, you don't know how to like. You don't have the social skills to be like, I'm just not that into it, man. You know
I
what
still
mean?
don't have the social skills to be like, oh, I don't care for this. Like,
Right.
Well, okay,
totally.
so
I
I'm
feel
sitting
so
around,
rude. So I'll just sit there and kind of like move it around for a while, and then like when everyone's done, I kind of just try and sneak into the kitchen and like throw it in the trash can before anyone sees.
Right.
Well, check this out. So like I'm sitting
Be
with
like, oh, that was great.
sitting with my buddy. We're probably like 6, dude. We were really little, but I don't remember what it was. But you finish the entire plate, like licking the gravy off, and then there's the fresh like quadrant of that, and I'm like, I gotta try it. Like I gotta be nice. I gotta eat my whole plate. This is a privilege. There's kids
Right.
starving in Africa here. I take one bite and I'm like, that tastes exactly like it smells. And I'm like, it's just like sitting there. And now you have like this pool of saliva because you're just like
Totally.
this is not good. Like I can't spit it out, but like everything is telling me like, you better not swallow that thing because it
Totally.
is disgusting. I swallow it. I go like this. I'm like I look like I'm about to throw up, and you're like, are you okay? And I go to burp, like I just
And it
like
just
I go
flies out.
no I go blah, and then like I burp, and they're like, get him. Like I didn't mean to like throw up. I didn't throw up, but it looked like I was about like I just burped, and it was like the whole table was in. I was like blah, like like gagging. And like get him to the bathroom, get him to the bathroom, and I like ran to the bathroom and spit it out and like threw up a little bit. That's how disgusting the dish was. And the whole time they're like, this is going to be the best thing you've ever had.
Right.
And then I threw up. That's how bad that was. And I had to go back and be like, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Courtney, like she is like has a wide variety. Like she's not scared to try new foods, and so
foodie.
I've tried a lot of different kinds of foods with her, and she's definitely seen me make some funny faces. But luckily, I've been able to at least swallow the one bite that I take, and nothing's come up. But there's definitely times where I'm like, take a bite, and she's like, yeah, you don't like that, huh? I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna touch that.
Yeah. I make a pretty good pesto sauce. I got it off the internet. Granted, I've like tweaked it a little bit, but it's really good pesto with like some Italian sausage and stuff like that.
Sounds good.
You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, like, had a girl over. Like, did you make the pasta and put on Bruce Almighty? I was like, yeah, I did.
And it probably works.
That's just your go-to. Pasta and Bruce
I've
Almighty.
had at least like 4. It's either Bruce Almighty or like Big Daddy or Incredibles. Any age group likes that movie, even if you've seen it 10 times.
Incredibles is great. I really like
Incredibles
the second
for
one.
sure.
Yeah. Anyways, we're getting pretty up there on time. It's getting late. I've been up since 4 a.m. and it's 8:25 now at night, for anybody wondering. I worked 10 hours all the way across in Inglewood. I had to go to the jungle and work there. But is there anything you guys want to ask me? Like anything? Literally, now's the time. I've been open book. Okay, it's super vulnerable. Like, let me have it. What do you guys want to ask me before I finish this? I kind of like asking that question in case you had something in your mind, but I kind of been running it, so you didn't ask. What do you guys think?
When you get huge off this and everyone follows you, you have to re-interview me.
And me.
All right.
You have to commit now. So when you're huge,
We want
and I'm
a
like,
commitment
bro,
right now.
I can't
It's
get a
gonna
hold
be
of
the
you.
You want
three
to
of us.
legally sign the contract stating you're going to piggyback
No, we're
off
being
my
recorded.
success for the rest of your
yeah,
life.
we're being recorded.
Yeah, I know. That's totally cool. I loved having you guys on. I had very little written. I had a couple before you guys came over. Let's see here. I hit my knee with a hammer last weekend. That's kind of funny. I wrote that down. I had very little written in. It's very easy to talk to you guys, which is the hardest part for me with these things. Is just kind of being myself. So thank you guys for coming over. Briana, my sister,
us.
love you. Courtney, you're
Love
like
you.
family now. So thank you so much, you guys. We're out. Take care, everybody.